Welcome to the Solopreneur Academy podcast. This is a podcast for entrepreneurs who want to make more impact and income in less time. I'm your host, Megan, and throughout each episode, you'll learn how to create the lifestyle and legacy you want as you grow. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the new and improved Solopreneur Academy podcast. Now, as you can tell, if you are watching this video live, I am coming at you from our new home. There have been so many changes already this year, and I wanted to do a podcast all about the changes that are coming to my business. And what a better time to be recording this podcast than talking about the changes that I've made in my life too. So today we're going to be talking about how to confidently make changes within your business. And I'm going to tell you, first and foremost, what I see people do that is a big mistake when they make changes. Then I'm going to talk to you about how to make data-driven decisions that propel your business forward and accelerate your growth. Then I'm going to talk to you about how to prevent creating indecision or decision fatigue around your decisions, and then how to create that confidence within yourself before you announce things to your audience so that you show up as a confident entrepreneur within your business. So first and foremost, what I see is a huge mistake when people make changes in their business is they make a mistake for the wrong reasons. Now, I'd like to say that there's no wrong decision. There's just a decision you choose to make, right? However, within your business, a lot of times when I see people making the wrong decision, it typically comes from a place of scarcity. When you're thinking about your business, you want to be creating this idea that people are really coming to you and they are coming to you for a service. They want to be served. They want to support you. They want to feel supported as a client. So what happens is if you make a decision based on your own scarcity, that's not going to convert people. That means that you're changing your timeline, your pricing, or creating a group offer because you feel like what you're doing isn't working. What I want you to know is that there is no right business model structure. There's only the one that you choose to make right. But within that, when you're thinking about creating a change to your offer, if you're like, oh, I just need more money, so I'm going to charge more, that is not a decision that is made in service. You want to be thinking about what is going to be compelling for your buyer, for your client, and then you make the changes. So for me, when I was thinking about what my business represents, doing solopreneur success systems, I knew that it was so much more than that. When I'm thinking about the movement, the revolution that I want to bring to the world with my business, I knew that a huge piece of that is the way that I want people to feel like they deeply understand business. I almost want it to be like your unintentional business MBA. And so coming from a teaching background, I knew that I was teaching things very heavily and I wanted my name to reflect that. And it was done fully in service, thinking about the Solopreneur Academy, because I want people to feel like when they come to me, it's like the Google of solopreneurship, that they understand how to run a business, especially like a coaching business, because that is what I am teaching. And I wanted my name to reflect that. Now, there's another big change that's coming around that is also done in service of others. As I have learned and grown so much in 2025, I learned that the names that I had, marketing systems and the scaling systems mastermind, I was doing ads to cold people who had never, ever met me before. And they heard marketing systems and they were getting confused. They would hear marketing systems and then scaling systems and think that within scaling systems, they wouldn't get marketing. And then with marketing systems, just the word systems in general, people were getting extremely confused. And what was happening is they were thinking that I was going to be teaching them really complicated CRMs, talking with them about automation, zaps, and all these things that if you've been listening to this podcast, you know I don't do. Everything is very simple. It's very streamlined. It's in Google Docs, you guys. I am not a fancy tech person. So there was some miscommunications. And in order to serve my audience better, I knew I needed to make a change. So not only is the name of this podcast changing to the Solopreneur Academy, but I am also changing the name of both of my programs. For what once was marketing systems is now going to be called, drumroll please, five-figure foundation. It's all about hitting your first 10K and making a compelling or a reoccurring 10K every single 90 days after that. So that is the first big shift in my programs. And then instead of calling it scaling systems for my mastermind, I'm going to call it the six-figure scaling mastermind. There are going to be changes to the content a little bit. I'm going to be but mostly for marketing systems, which is now five-figure foundation, it is mostly just going to be a shift to the name of the program. There isn't as much content changes, but I'm going to be revamping the content for scaling systems in probably March, and that's going to be a big shift. So the thing that you want to do is you want to first and foremost make sure that when you are making a decision, it is from a place of service. And I realized that I could serve and help so many more people if I made this change. So that is the first thing that you want to do is you want to think about why your motivation behind making a change to your business and do it from a place of service, of course. Then, and again, data driven. This was done because I had done so many consults with strangers. So many people were coming to my landing page that were not a good fit for the program, that had brick and mortar businesses. And I was like, oh, we're missing the mark here. We're going to do a little shift. So that is why we are making a shift and a pivot. Now, the next thing that you want to do is you want to use your brain strategically. Your brain thinks negatively. You want to think about all the problems that could occur when you change your name and think about strategies to combat them. So for instance, I know on average, it takes about 90 days for people to understand the changes that are done to a brand and a name. And I'm giving myself leeway. So that's an obstacle. And I use this strategic pessimism in order to think about my business in a way that I'm like, okay, here are all the problems that I could experience. And then here are all the solutions that I want to create from it. So obstacle, it takes 90 days for my audience to understand the brand change. And another obstacle, I'm going on maternity leave in June. So the strategy is to make the change simultaneously. I knew that I needed to announce it today on this podcast that is releasing on January 6th so that I would have February, March, and April to get this shift in, have a month of stabilizing pre-maternity leave. Then the other thing is, I could have launched five-figure foundation and six-figure scaling. I'm doing it simultaneously, announcing both. And then I'm going to do a launch of five-figure foundation. And then I'm going to launch six-figure scaling before I leave for maternity leave. The other thing is, when you're thinking about creating changes, we had to do this very strategically from a branding standpoint. Now that I've got a bigger business, I had to go through and make sure that I had my logos changed. I had to make sure that all of the back end for my websites were changed. The podcast intro and outro needed to change. I needed to go through and the thumbnails, literally silly little thumbnails needed to change for this announcement. Videos, even this mini course that I was selling content to consults, all of these things needed to change. So what I've been doing for the past 2 months, I've given myself so much time to think about this. And I've had my VA, my virtual assistant, working with me in tandem so that we can make this a streamlined, seamless really transition into this new business model and into this new brand. So we had her team is making different logos for me. They're going through and she has brought on two different VAs to help make sure that the change is seamless and streamlined. The next thing is, so we went through and we gave ourselves ample time. We knew that this would be a big shift and we wanted to make sure that we were doing this to help everyone. Now, the other big thing about the Solopreneur Academy is that I'm going to be talking more to working mamas because I am going to be a working mom so soon. And the entire reason I started my business was because I was teaching full time and I knew I wanted to have something where I worked from home. So I literally started this business to have the flexibility to work from home and be able to support my family while also raising a family. So I am going to be talking a lot more to the working parents that are in my audience because that is who I'm going to be and the entire reason I started my business. It's a smidge of a niche down for you guys. So I'm going to be talking about that a little bit more, but I know that this is really, really important. So the last piece about how to confidently make a change within your business is to make sure that you are on board with this change as well. And when you're thinking about selling yourself on why this is important, why this is a critical change, what I mean by that, and when I tell my clients, if you're ever changing your pricing, if you're ever changing the name of your offer, if you're ever changing the duration, you want to really be sold in your own mind that this is the best choice for you and your people. So what selling yourself means, it doesn't mean to actually spend money on yourself, obviously. What I mean by that is you need to be thinking different thoughts about your offer that create a feeling of confidence in order for you to get out there and talk about your new change very confidently to a group of people. So when we think about your neurological programming, pre-change, you have sold yourself and are confident enough that what you're selling is going to be of service and that is going to support people and that you are able to deliver it in a way that is filling a problem that you see in the world and it is delivering a need. So for you, when you're thinking about making that change for your business, what you want to do is you want to be thinking about how you can shift your brain and get on board because when you think about the way that the world works and the way I was trained as a life coach, your thoughts create your results. This is from the life coaching model from Brooke Castillo. I'm certified, an LCS certified coach. And when we think about that, if you are feeling anything less than so clear that this is the best decision, even subconsciously, what happens is you are going to unintentionally share all the reasons why you don't fully believe in your offer. So what you need to do is before you announce your offer and test it, because I see a lot of people doing that. They're like, okay, I'm just going to go through and I'm going to do some market research. I'm going to talk to people and see if this is something that they really want. You want to be sold before that. You do not want to let other people dictate an offer change for you. Of course, you want to think about like, okay, what would be something that is valuable in the world, but you don't want to let those people dictate the pricing and or the timeline and or the style of your offer because they are not the CEO of your business and they probably won't end up buying. I did ICA, which stands for Ideal Client Avatar interviews back in the day, and typically they weren't ideal clients. They in my brain were, but I needed to be sold on that in order to really bring in the people that were the best fit for me. So the way that you sell yourself and you create that confidence, that internal confidence in what you're doing is you need to go through and think about how you are positioning yourself and you need to create a lot of good thoughts about your offer in order to drive the confidence around it. Which means that for me, every single day, I would think of 5 reasons why these changes were pivotal changes, coming up with evidence that gives my brain the fuel to come on this podcast and confidently be like, the Solopreneur Academy is truly one of the best and most exciting changes I've ever made with my business. And it's going to serve you so much more because you're going to see how really to run a business from the inside out so strategically and data driven and simply so that you can do and make 10K and 100K in part-time hours, literally even during a school day is my vision. And within your business, when you're thinking about creating this incredible new appearance for yourself, you want to drive all these positive thoughts as much as you can. So I typically write them down when I'm doing my own self-coaching, and I will say, what are 5 reasons why Five Figure Foundation is the best name I could possibly name what was previously marketing systems to help people get to their first 10K. And I would think about, okay, 5 figures, 10K, that makes so much sense. I feel like I'm getting it. From there, we would go on and I would sell myself on reasons why, again, if I changed my timeline, I went from 5 to 6 months and then I went from 6 months to a year. I had to sell myself on that being the best decision for you and my people. So you want to be selling yourself that you're the best person to deliver it, that offer is what people want, and that your business model is going to support them in reaching their goals. So you want to just come up with, again, I do 5 reasons to make sure that I am sold that this is the right decision. And I want you to list out your decision. It's like 5 reasons why changing my price from 4K to 6K is the best decision ever. 5 reasons why increasing my timeline from 3 to 6 months is the best decision ever. 5 reasons why me starting a group is the best decision ever. Whatever the changes in your business, you want to make sure that you are sold first before you announce it. So that way you confidently show up and you're like, yeah, guys, this is a no-brainer. It literally would be crazy for you not to invest in something like this. And that comes across, and that confidence creates safety for people to buy. So this was a podcast all about creating confidence in yourself and in your offer and the changes that you will inevitably be making. I mean, y'all, I started out coaching children and now I'm doing business coaching for solopreneurs. It's been a lot of shifts in 5 years. Now, going into my 6th year of business. And I want you to know that you are safe to make the changes. It is important that you are flexible and make changes. Don't let the blockbuster effect get you when we're thinking about the way that they didn't pivot because they saw changes needed and they kept going with the same thing. You want to make sure that your business is adaptable, it makes changes as needed, and you are going to thrive. So with that being said, thank you for coming on to the Solopreneur Academy podcast. Now, just like with all of the podcast episodes previously, well, most of them, I'm going to include a worksheet, a free worksheet, a freebie, if you will, included with this podcast to help you confidently make those decisions and changes within your business. So go ahead and click in the link in the show notes, and you are going to get that free worksheet sent to your email from support@meganwingcoaching.com. And I cannot wait to see you in the next episode of the podcast. Did you know that 89% of people need to see a testimonial in order to buy? Get my free testimonial template using the link in the show notes, and you'll see exactly how I used testimonials to market my business as it grew to 120K in my first year full-time and multiple 6 figures every year after that. Thank you so much again for listening, and I can't wait to see you on the next episode of the Solopreneur Academy podcast.